Hi RealtyNXT viewers. So we are excited to announce the upcoming episode of Let's Talk Business series. We are featuring Rishabh Siroya, the visionary founder of Siroya Corp, a prominent player in the luxury real estate market. So in this exclusive interview, we will delve into the future of the luxury real estate, Siroya Corp innovative approach to redevelopment projects and his influential role in the NAREDCO Next Gen. His expert insights on the forecast for the Indian real estate and the anticipated impact of the monsoon, which is around the corner. So stay tuned as we uncover the secrets behind Siroya Corp, remarkable success and unwavering commitment to excellence in the real estate industry. So welcome Rishabh to Let's Talk Business series by RealtyNXT.
Thank you very much, Kritika. Happy to be here.
So Rishabh, before we dive into more about Siroya Corp, let's know about your journey first. How did you embark upon the real estate industry and what led to the establishment of Siroya Corp?
So just a little bit brief about myself. My entire family is based out of Dubai. I was born and brought up in Mumbai, but was studied in Dubai. Our entire family is not from the real estate background. My entire family business is based in jewelry. So we are one of the leading jewelers in the world. What started with me for real estate is that I started investing into real estate at a very young age when I was in college. And that's when I realized that there is something about real estate that just ticks right for me. And so I did study my jewelry business as well, but eventually I told my dad that, you know what, this is not going to work out for me because my heart was always into real estate. So I said that I want to start development, and that's when it all started. And my dad told me that, okay, if you want to start, then you might as well go to India and then start a business over there and then learn the business the right way, probably the harder way, but probably the right way. So that's how the real estate journey started for me.
So during the initial stages, because you started by shifting from Dubai market to Indian market, right? And it's said about Indian real estate industry, it's not that organized. We are still on that way. So how did you manage? What were the challenges that you faced during the beginning?
I think you are right in the way that it is still, it was actually an unorganized market. But luckily for me, I think I stepped into the business of real estate, and that's when I could see a lot of changes in policies coming in and a lot of structure coming into place. And fortunately, I think I have been part of the business while it was unorganized, and I've seen the difference which is now, which is where you see a lot of youth coming into the business and also making it a more corporate structure, more process-driven structure, and basically taking it ahead as a corporate rather than just a one-man show business.
So what would be the USP of Siroya Corp?
Siroya Corp has been known for being sensibly splendid, and that is our motto. We are sensible and we are splendid because our projects are based around the requirements of our customers, but also we don't go overboard with nonsensical amenities. So it will be amenities which will be useful for you. It will be amenities which will enhance your standard of living. So we don't want to give amenities just for the sake of giving a tick mark that we have 65 amenities in the building.
Yeah.
We'll probably do it with 12, but make sure that those 12 will work for you day in, day out.
So can you share some successful project example? What would you say would be the key aspects or the feature of that project that resonated with the buyer?
That is actually a good question because just recently we are just finishing a project in Oshiwara, and Oshiwara market has been predominantly house of production houses. Yeah. So there are a lot of people who belong to the movie industry. You will find actors, writers, lyricists, post-production teams, and so one of the selling points that we could gather from there was that we should have a business center in the building, a co-working space, and that's what we got incorporated into the building. Second thing that we understood was that a lot of these guys, because they belong to the movie industry, they want a screening space. So we organized a mini theater which will be like a 30-seater smaller inox kind of a thing where they can have a screening for their family, their friends, and a small screening space. So that amenity actually worked wonders for our project.
Nice.
Yeah.
So going forward in terms of the luxury real estate market, how Siroya Corp position itself as a brand, having a competitive edge over the other brands in this particular market?
I don't actually like to compare myself with other brands. I don't see what other brands are doing. I actually prefer to keep it in the way that are we doing the right thing? Are we giving everything that we have in the project for the customer? Will the customer be happy buying over here? So a lot of times, customers come to us and they say, "Arey, ye baaju wala project to itne mein bik raha hai. Aap itne mein kyun charge kar rahe ho?" I'm like, I'm not holding you. You can go and buy there. Then what is the difference is when you see our apartments, when you see the quality, when you see small things which we put our heart to, like details, just like a small thing in our existing project, we made the lift lobbies on every floor completely designer. So that gives just not the customer, but even his guest when they come in, they get a feeling of, oh yes, this is a standard building. This is something which is very good. So even eventually, people, they live in a building, but eventually they have guests coming in, they have family coming in, they have family friends coming in, and they want to showcase that they live in a high standard, high amenity building also. Yeah. So I think that is one of the things that we try to incorporate in most of our projects.
So tell me, in terms of Siroya Corp, what all segments you are entered into, so our viewers can understand what all you guys are doing in terms of what segment, residential, commercial, or retail, and where are you present currently in India apart from Bombay?
No, so our focus has always been Bombay, and we want to concentrate only on that. I like to call ourselves more like a startup development company, where we are not from the legacy of developers who've come in. We are a first generation developer company, and we try to take pride in that because I feel that we have done or achieved something till today that probably a lot of brands who've been in this industry have not been able to. So we've achieved good customer satisfaction, good customer loyalty. We've achieved multiple customer comebacks again. Coming back to your point about which segments we focus on. So recently we have shifted our focus to also explore office segments. We are actually we've just closed a deal recently, and we are targeting office segments now, but we don't want to get into the smaller office segments of those 250 and 300 square feet. So we are still on the paper, we are working on it, that how do we plan it, but it will be something very exciting.
We noticed during post-pandemic, we noticed that home buyers now want to put their money on the branded developers, right? Because they know they will get the possession on the right time. They know the amenities that has been promised to them will be provided. So do you think in the future, in going forward, the only top branded developers will be able to survive this market and the smaller developers either will be taken by the top brand developers? How you think this will play out?
Don't want to make future predictions over here because I've seen in a lot of different industries where, like if you talk about the automotive industry, who knew that only Mercedes and BMWs could make money? There is something called Tesla which will come up and will shatter all the other brands. So I don't think making these kind of future predictions is important, but yes, what you're talking about, branded developers who do care about their image, care about their product, they will definitely last. That is my belief.
So will that impact the emerging developers, the young developers who are still making their mark? Because to convince a home buyer about that particular new brand, even Siroya Corp being the first generation brand, how do you convince the customer then?
This is from my first-hand experience. This is what happens so real estate, especially in Mumbai, is a very, there's a hard barrier to entry into this industry. And as a developer, this is probably something that if someone told me earlier, I might have thought second time of entering the market. But your product will speak for you.
True.
And in real estate, you cannot really deliver product overnight. It takes time, it takes patience, it takes a lot of capital, and then you see and reap benefits of it over the years. But it's the first few years that you have to give into it, prove your product, prove your metal, and prove that you can actually deliver what you can show on brochure. So if you are able to do those things right, with the right intention, I don't think there is anything that is going to stop you from any industry though.
So Rishabh, as the current president of NAREDCO Next Gen, what is the goal the fraternity collectively is working towards? What are the key aspects that this particular committee is focusing on?
Yeah, so as you know that NAREDCO Next Gen is the youth wing for NAREDCO Maharashtra, and this year's focus had actually started with an idea of resolving small irritant factors for the industry. And as developers, we face a lot of small irritants that come into permission stages, post-permission stages, development stages. There's small things like taking carriage permission for entry and exit from the plot. There's small things like doing a joint measurement and a city survey measurement, which are all separate measurements which are not required. So in order to avoid these redundancies and going for multiple approvals, there are this list of 12 to 14 small irritants that all developers face, and that is what we focused on, that we should try and resolve this and get the government on board to see how we can streamline the process.
So as the current president, what are the main milestones that you have focused to achieve this year?
I'll be very frank, I think there are past presidents who have done a much better job than me, but my focus this year has been on 3 to 4 events, which is going to be, I hope it becomes really good. So one mentorship event that we did this year was with Ankur Wariku. Ankur Wariku is not from the real estate fraternity. Past events with mentorship has always been with real estate mentors. This year we decided that we should go a little out of the box, see, as a business mentor, because real estate eventually is a business. So as a real estate mentor, how can we, also put like someone like Ankur Wariku? And the event was fabulous. It was packed, and we had a great show. We all had a great time. So again, secondly, we want to approach more certain celebrities for our mentorship programs. Then on the event agenda is Accelerate, which is our annual event, Accelerate 2.0 this year, which will be focused majorly on technology in real estate. And thirdly, we are also doing certain certification programs for developers in association with IIM and ISB. So so that is going to be our key agenda for this year. We are also exploring study tour options this year, where my personal opinion on this is to go for a project like NEOM, which has been in talks since a long time, but no one really knows exactly what is happening at NEOM. So we wanted to go and see how we can explore NEOM, talk to the architects, talk to the governments, and understand if there is kind of any investment opportunities for us as outside developers to also be part of this project.
So these events is it open only for developers, or even the channel brokers and everyone from the different segment of real estate can attend?
Yes, so all members of NAREDCO, it is open for, whether you are a developer or you are an associate member, you are all invited to the events of NAREDCO Next Gen.
Great. So what is the basic idea behind these events? Why curate such events? What is the main purpose behind these?
So if you see, in the real estate fraternity, there's lack of information flow. And some things which do come into place, or probably someone is aware of a new policy coming into place that affects literally everyone in the industry. And being from a smaller industry like Bombay, there are a lot of developers, and we are still probably not at the same page when it comes to doing business. So in order to get them in a standard format, also to have information flow at a certain level, so that is the reason why we need a fraternity like NAREDCO. And NAREDCO really helps you, be part of the industry and see what is going right, what is going wrong, how people are, basic things that people selling, how people are selling nowadays. So so a lot of things that information exchange happens.
Nice.
Yeah.
So if you had to make a pitch to the young aspiring real estate developers who are entering into this market, what would you pitch to them? Why have NAREDCO membership? How does it will help them to be part of this?
Oh, that is a pitch I give probably to a lot of people, so it's going to be fairly easy. So I think as a new developer or a developer who comes from a legacy of development projects but is new in the business, I would suggest that everyone should be a part of a fraternity. And being from NAREDCO Next Gen, I know that NAREDCO is a more receptive body than probably any other competitors that it has. What we also do is, we actively look for participation from members, where everyone's voice is heard, their problems are heard, and we try to take active steps in resolving those problems. Just to give you an example, recently there was certain orders on few developers also regarding probably like an LUC matter. But if you would know that LUC matter was actually fought through NAREDCO Next Gen, NAREDCO's platform, and NAREDCO Next Gen played a very, very vital role. So, just like something like this, which can resolve a lot of issues. So, for a developer, it is probably a blessing.
So what about the new young developers who are just completely new in the market? How would NAREDCO Next Gen help them to not just provide a knowledge or information base, but help them grow their business also? Is that possible under this particular committee?
To grow the business, well, you have to take your own steps for that.
But with regards to network, with regards
in terms of networking and relationship building, it is a fantastic option.
Okay.
Yeah, because it is very welcoming. It is also, open to creating relationships. We have developers. So first time in the history of NAREDCO Next Gen, we have about 40 committee members, which has never happened. So can you imagine like the kind of active participation people are looking for, and they want to be a part of the committee where they can see that the future is growing.
Yeah.
So there is 40 committee members on this. So yeah, there is great access, great networking, and obviously great information.
So for our viewers and for us to also understand, there's also another committee called CREDAI, and they also have a CREDAI youth wing.
Correct.
So how would you differentiate NAREDCO Next Gen with CREDAI youth wing? How does a aspiring or the young developer would choose between these two committees, where to join and why to join?
I'm not sure about how CREDAI Youth Wing works, but although I know of a lot of developers who are on the CREDAI Youth Wing, and they're very good friends, but I am not sure what is the difference. And I cannot really pitch on terms of what they are doing. I can pitch on terms of what I am doing. So
that's quite a safe answer.
Let's be a little diplomatic, no? Okay. No one got harmed.
So let's talk about the real estate market.
Yeah.
Especially redevelopment is, gaining a momentum.
Yeah.
So I want to know where your perspective lies when it comes to redevelopment happening currently in the market. How Siroya Corp is, touching upon the redevelopment projects. How are you guys convincing the consumers, and how is it going in terms of the prediction for the future? Are we going to see more redevelopment projects happening?
When we talk about Mumbai, I think 90%, don't quote me on this, most of the projects are all redevelopment projects, whether it be a society redevelopment project, whether it be a MAHADA redevelopment project, whether it be a SRA redevelopment project. Everything most of it falls under redevelopment because there is scarcity of land. True. And that is the reason. There are a few greenfield projects that do come up, but they'll be probably in decimal of numbers. I don't see it as a big chunk of greenfield projects, and those are very different projects from redevelopment projects. So going forward, yes, redevelopment is going to be the key. Redevelopment has been given a lot of incentives by government also, and being focused on redevelopment means basically you are in part of the main city of Mumbai, and location advantages always happen when you are into redevelopment. So
tell us, even our viewers would like to know, as a consumer, what should our viewers keep in mind when they are approached by real estate developers?
For a redevelopment project?
Yeah.
You mean to say as a customer?
As a customer, the key factors always the customer should keep in mind.
So as a redevelopment project, I know for a fact that what I would do, this is again saying that out of my experience, you will have a lot of better amenities, better planning. The building will have better parking facilities, better infrastructure facilities. So yeah, I mean, these are the things that I would pitch to my customer, because that is what I would plan to do. As internally, as Siroya Corp, we have a thing that we don't do smaller size projects. We stay away from 1,000 square meters, 500 square meter project, because that gives a little bit of a challenge while planning, gives a little bit of a challenge while giving amenities to the best. So we try to stay away from it, and this is exactly why now, just recently, Government of Maharashtra has introduced incentives for 33(9), which is cluster development, because even they realize that infrastructure is going to be very heavy on smaller plots, and open space will be an issue on smaller plots. So that is the reason that they're asking societies to come together, 4, 5, 6 societies come together, use that as a benefit model, and give them an incentive to develop together.
So make us go through your process in Siroya Corp when you take up on a redevelopment project. How do you convince the customers?
So we've done about 2 or 3 redevelopment projects, society development. We majorly focus on SRA development projects. And when it comes to SRA development projects, the land area is pretty much good enough for you to make individual towers, multiple towers. So you can give better parking facilities. And that is seen. I mean, that is not something that I need to convince someone on. I can show them on my models. I can show them in the brochure that these are the security systems, these are the amenities, these are the parking systems, these are the pool areas, gym areas, and those are sizable. It's not going to be a gym which is going to be like a 200 square feet room and I tell you this is the gym. It's going to be a nice, spread out 2,000 square feet gym. It is going to be in a better place. So it's going to be usable.
So what are the challenges? Because why I'm asking on the redevelopment, earlier we used to see this pattern, top branded players used to not get involved.
Correct.
Now they are getting involved when it comes to a joint JV with regards to redevelopment also, so that directly they don't have to deal with the customers. Because we always hear there are so many challenges in convincing the customers and it takes a long process.
Convincing the customer for you, are you saying customer is the person who's owning the society?
The customers as a joint society when you approach the society, right? The members of the
Members
society.
of the society, yeah.
So to convince everyone in the sense to have that,
is
yes from every individual.
That is a challenge.
So what kind of challenges did you face in your project?
Luckily for me, I did my redevelopment projects much earlier in the days, which was probably like 12, 13 years ago. And that's when I probably decided not to do it anymore. That's probably one of the reasons. Because it was probably better that I spent 6 months to 8 months in convincing a slum society which had a potential of 10,000 square meter plot, rather than talking to 100 people who are talking about 1,000 square meter plot. That was probably one of the reasons that I decided to step away from society developments.
But don't you think the slum society will face a different kind of challenges altogether?
In terms of?
In terms of demand, in terms of, having, everyone would have a certain kind of apartments they want. Like, आप हमें 2 BHK दीजिए. How would you define that for the slum?
That is actually not true, because in the way that the slum regulation is jotted down, it is pretty much in black and white what you need to give them, and they cannot demand anything more. Exactly how it is in 33(7) projects, where a building which is getting demolished, they will get a minimum area of 300 square feet. And 300 square feet is what is given in the regulation for slum. So you have to design their apartments as per that size. You cannot give them lesser, and you shouldn't give them more. Yeah.
So you're saying there are less challenges when it compared
to planning, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting to know. I'm sure our viewers would also gain insight on that. So tell me, what is your outlook on the current Indian real estate market? Do you feel, the factors like government policies or the economic condition can affect the real estate market?
100%. economic factors definitely do affect real estate market and vice versa. Real estate market has been one of the core businesses for the GDP growth as well. In terms of the market today, I think there is a great positive sentiment going around for all economic factors. I think India is becoming one of the major players economic-wise, and they right now being the sentiment being so positive, I don't see much challenge in the next 3 to 4 years. I think the market is going to flourish.
So what are the major trends are you observing right now which will create a quite good buzz, be residential, be luxury market, and even commercial? Is there any particular trend which you are seeing right now will gain a good momentum?
In terms of segments, I think residential, sub-segments of residential, let's understand that, what majorly works or has been working throughout these years is a target market of below 5 crores, which is the sub-luxury, semi-luxury product. And now I think there is a good traction above 5 crore ticket sizes. And that has also become true because of COVID, probably blessing disguise for real estate market, where people realize the actual value of owning a home, which was just not one room, kitchen, hall. It was also about amenities. It was also about balconies. It was all about, different things, having a home office, for example. So yeah, I see a good growth in both the segments, whether it's below 5 or above 5. Both ticket sizes are doing really well right now.
So repo rate being unchanged has helped right now the current real estate market, but the developers are still saying if the government can focus on stamp duty as well. What is your perspective on that?
So if you see last 2 years ago, when the government had introduced the reduction in stamp duty, there was a sudden surge in demand. And this probably was not a surge in demand, it was all pent-up demand. That's probably on the fence, and they probably wanted to come in and register. We as developers see this day in and day out, that what our customers are looking for, how many customers are coming in, how many customers are going out, what is the closure rate. We probably understand the numbers, and that is probably one of the reasons that we are asking for something like this, is because we see that the demand is pent up. Yeah. There should be certain, I can offer a 5% discount, but that will not convince the customer.
True.
If the government says that yes, there is a 5% or 3% discount on stamp duty, the customers probably will see a lot more, the developers will see a lot more traction in sales.
So repo rate being unchanged, did it help the luxury residential market?
Keeping it unchanged has helped to a certain extent. I wouldn't say that I wanted it to go down. That's probably a more major economic factor. Yeah. But in terms of it being unchanged, yes, it works better.
So tell us, Siroya Corp in beginning we were talking about, you want to focus in Mumbai region, right? Okay. But we are seeing a trend happening among the top branded developers also. They are shifting their geographies. For example, Shobha from Bangalore is shifting towards the north region. Similarly, Godrej is expanding its business, Brigade is expanding. Where do you foresee now going ahead? Of course, right now you want to focus in Mumbai market. Will you be expanding your geographies as well, or it will be only based in Mumbai MMR region?
So as of right now, I think for the next 5 years, we will focus majorly in Mumbai. Internationally speaking, I do want to explore Dubai market. So that is one of the regions that I eagerly want to explore. I think right now Dubai market has gone crazy, and yeah, a lot of spikes in prices. But yes, eventually I think those are the two hubs that Siroya Corp should belong to.
So as you said, Dubai market, quoting Dubai name, we are seeing a lot of developers also entering in the Dubai market. Correct. Right? Indian developers. Yeah. And even we are noticing a lot of Indian PropTech companies entering into Dubai market. So what is Dubai market or the government doing differently for the players who are joining in the luxury residential market?
So I think Dubai has emerged as a very sound option for a lot of people after COVID, because I think the way that Dubai handled COVID was much better in terms of safety, security, in terms of movement of people. I think that is one of the reasons that people do consider Dubai as a better investment option in terms of any international markets. I'm not comparing it to Bombay market, I'm comparing it to international markets. If I want to option to buy something in London and buy something in Dubai, I think Dubai is a better option because I can access it easily. There are 12 flights a day. I can go anytime. I can go in the morning, come back in the evening if I want to. So it is more accessible in terms of that. And I think Dubai has been very business focused now, and they have given a lot of easy options to start business, to keep investments, to also grow your business if you're there. So they're giving a lot of incentives to tech companies. So yeah, tech companies are getting good incentives in terms of rentals, in terms of tax breaks, in terms of keeping the headquarters over there.
So now the monsoon is being in the corner, and so we have noticed monsoon affects certain industries. Do you think the monsoon will affect real estate market also? And how does Siroya Corp as a brand, what kind of strategies you have in place when monsoon is around the corner, having your own complete headquarter in Mumbai?
Per se, monsoon, I don't know if really affects our market in terms of sales, but I do understand where you're coming from, that because monsoon comes in, then a lot of blockages happen certain times.
Projects sometimes go standstill,
and there's a lot of less movement. Sometimes there's some roadblock is there, the transfer is not there. Yes, I agree that does pose a challenge for us, but I think in terms of construction, that doesn't really affect a lot, because nowadays people have become conscious of that. Developers have become conscious. They take precautionary measures that, okay, monsoons are coming in. We know that this is going to happen. There are a lot of precautionary measures that we take in terms of safety, in terms of development, so that our cycles don't get disturbed. But unfortunate scenes always happen. Sometimes also must have happened. So yeah, that could be a reason. But in terms of business, I think business as usual. I don't see much difference in terms of monsoon or winter or summer. So
Rishabh, I want to know from your assessment of the current market, where you're noticing, a huge change the way people look upon the brokers. And brokers are the main aspect for any real estate developer when it comes to their selling, right? And we are seeing a change when it comes to online selling, the online property transactions, and when we are seeing offline sales. So where do you see, is it helping a real estate developer when it comes to property transaction? Are we still traditionally dependent on the offline sales, which is creating good amount of sales for the developer? Or is it the online property transaction has, changed from over the time?
So in terms of sales, let's understand that real estate sales have always been dependent on sourcing, whether it be sourcing of clients or whether it be sourcing of brokers who get the clients eventually. The more the walk-ins, the more the sourcing, the better the turnaround. So in terms of that, I think brokers are one of the backbones of the industry in terms of sales. We cannot really say that as a developer I can sell. No, even like the topmost developers cannot sell just by putting the board outside. Yeah, so the markets have changed, the trends have changed, and I see more brokerage houses coming in, better infrastructure from their side as well, more professionally driven people coming into the market and taking good responsibility on what they're selling and being eventually accountable for what they're selling.
So, mandate business has always been there, and it has been executed by few companies before the pandemic. But after the pandemic, we noticed a lot of developers, even small developers, mid-sized developers, even top-level developers, they started going more towards mandate business, and their own sales marketing team became smaller and smaller in the size. So do we see the developer putting all their trust in a mandate business, being an outside party, or the developer wants to, give a bit of a part to the brokers and still have a control? Because mandate business is like giving the control to the, channel sales partner.
So I think initially when the mandate business was there, you're right. That was the theme that you give your sales and marketing to, you outsource the sales and marketing. But I think over time developers have realized that eventually when the customer is buying, he's buying from you, and if there is anything that is going wrong or back and forth, he's going to come back to you. So a real estate brand will have to have its own sales, own marketing, own post-sales company, own team who will handle that. Mandate companies do a great part when it comes to launches. You can get the word out great. The project becomes famous very easily, faster. Yes, and that is one thing which I think any industry probably faces when they launch a new product. The launch has to be great, right?
Yeah.
And the word has to be spread out. Eventually you see sustenance phase coming in, and then you realize that this is how a development project comes in, and your sustenance is going to be clocking in sales regularly. So whether you sell an entire building on the first day or not, that should not be the real target. The target should be that a launch is done, whether you do it on your own or through a mandate company. That is what you need to take care of.
So do you think mandate business is going to be there for developers, and in going ahead with that, will we see, like now what we are seeing in mandate business is not just during the launch time, what we are seeing is the time the project is, the concept is there in terms of, for example, Bandra, there's a land plot, the developer brings in the channel partner, come up with the creators, come up with what kind of, identity or the vision we should have for this particular project, and based on that they start working on it. It's like from the creative part to the selling part to the launch part, everything. So the whole process is handled by that. How do you as a developer make sure that your identity and your values are completely intact, even if a mandate business channel is coordinating with you or taking the business or the project? How do you make sure this is completely taken in the right way, and how you make sure that your vision, your values are not dissolved with the project?
It's actually a very, very good question. It's actually given me a few things to think about for my next launch. So we are coming up with a new launch probably by December this year, and just to understand the market where we're going now, we wanted a mandate company to be on board from now on, where our planning comes into place, our customer target audience comes into place from now on, and we understand that what is the ticket size we're working on. So all those things. As a company, how we are making sure is that that the name stays on the project is by giving these certain details about the project, which will obviously have our name. The project will obviously have our name. But the fact that you're saying it right now is making me think twice that should I reconsider doing something like this. So yeah, I think you are right. Maybe it's some,
because I feel the control is given completely to them, right? It can be in a positive way or negative way, but
Exactly.
then it can dissolve the the value or the identity of the developer also. Because what I've seen, every project, different channel partners are taken, because you are also a developer experimenting who is doing better with your project, the sales wise, and I've seen numbers is more important for the developer perspective in terms of how the selling is being done.
Yeah.
But the process, how it's being done, is also something should be scrutinized, right?
Yeah.
So how would you make sure that project wise, your brand is not getting, because you're creating a trust among the customer and giving it to the third party, how are you making sure it's being resonated or being followed in the similar manner, because everyone does it differently, right?
So talking about the mandate business, I think at Siroya Corp, how we are ensuring this is by giving the launch or partnering with a mandate company for a launch. However, there is a sales and marketing company which is in-house, sales and marketing team which is in-house, and after the launch, that is how we take care of everything, because everything comes back to us. We take care of the customers directly from our side, and we make sure that post launch, then everything stays with us.
Okay, so in future also you'll be following the same, just the project launch you'll be providing to the mandate business, or it's going to be from the beginning to end, like how we discussed?
So future again, I don't know if
Can't
the trend
predict. Yeah,
changes
yeah.
and there are certain things, but yes, I think mandate companies are doing really well though, and they are proving to be a good asset to the industry.
So let's start with our rapid fire, which is quite famous in Let's Talk
Oh,
Business series. So
okay.
let's begin with that. So describe yourself in 5 words.
Honest, hardworking, sometimes crazy, and I think three is enough.
So the first word that comes in your mind when I say builder.
Developer. I would correct it.
Okay. So which competitor project that you wish you had done?
Uh, no, I don't see it like that. So there is no competition project, but yes, there are some inspirational projects that I wish I can do something like that.
And if you had to name?
Ritz Carlton.
The best and the worst advice that you have ever received, especially when you entered this real estate market.
Um, Best advice I've received is don't give up, and probably worse is also don't give up. But eventually, I think the result has become positive. So I guess it's yeah.
Okay. So who is the one real estate developer that is your biggest example and inspiration?
One real estate developer. There's so many. Actually, I appreciate as a developer, I see so many developers doing such good jobs. I can't name a single person over there, and I think there's so many things who are doing marvelous jobs. No, so many developers.
If you are to name two.
In terms of amenities, I love what Lode has done with World One. They've done a great, fantastic job at a time when this was just a thought, and how they've pulled it off. It's marvelous. In terms of facade, I think Indiabulls Blue is Bombay Realty. They've done fantastic jobs. Yeah.
When you think of the word successful, who is the first person who comes to mind and why?
Me.
Why would you say that?
I don't want to name anyone else right now.
Tell me, why do you think the success comes, how would you define?
I think success cannot be defined in terms of only one line, or this is the red line across, this is success and this is failure. I think as long as you are in the industry, you are not giving up, you are going to be there, you are standing up after failure and failure, that defines success.
Who do you look for guidance and mentorship?
My father.
If you could snap your fingers and have founded another business, what would it be?
I don't know. I think I had so many options of doing other businesses, but I still feel like if I was doing another business, I would still be dreaming about doing real estate. So,
Okay. And if you were thinking about any business if you wanted to do?
I think I would have done supermarkets.
Nice. What is your favorite business book and why?
There is this current book that I'm reading. It's called Biology. It's not a business book per se, but it's about psychology of buying, and it's just super interesting. I mean, the way the thought process is about how someone buys and what goes through their mind before they make that decision of buying. There's so many impulses that go through your head, and you might think that no, I've made a very planned decision, but it might just be a very impulsive decision at the end.
Interesting. This is the way how you can tap into your customer mind also. What is your favorite documentary or movie?
My favorite documentary is actually a book that I really like, which is Steve Jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah, so which is a documentary also and a movie also. Yeah, so I've seen all three.
So what are your morning rituals? What do the first 60 minutes of your day would look like?
If you ask my wife that, it will be a very different answer. but when I get up in the morning, yeah, I like to get my me time in the morning. So I get up probably at around 6:37. I will have a cup of coffee, read the newspaper, and then head to the gym. So my first 60 minutes will be before the prep for going to the gym.
And what motivates you? What keeps you going every day?
Right now, I think it's going to be my daughters.
Okay.
Yeah. So I have twin daughters, Kaya and Chloe, and I think that is what keeps me going.
So, what is the best or most worthwhile investment you have made? Could be an investment of money, time, energy, or other resource. How did you decide to make that investment?
I want to be little biased over here. I think my biggest and most successful investment would be in the team that we've built and the people. So over time, it probably looked like an expense that we are having, and what are we doing? Questions raised. But I think over time, when I see back and when I look back, I feel like what a marvelous thing that I did by not listening to others and just listening to myself, and getting into the part where I built a team, where my team is so good. They make sure things are going right when I'm not here. So because I keep traveling a lot to Dubai, so we are trying to expand our business circle over there as well. So they take care of things over here. So I think that is just marvelous. The gift of time is what I get.
Nice. And how would you define Siroya Corp, work culture in 3 words?
3 words.
Yeah.
That's a very difficult question. Yeah.
You couldn't describe yourself in 5 words, and fine, in work culture you can describe in 5 words.
I think our work culture is it's pretty modern. It's a very youthful organization. The oldest person in our company is probably 50 years old.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, that's it, I think.
So, do you have a quote you live your life by or think of often?
A quote.
Yeah.
There are actually a lot of quotes, but one quote that comes to my mind right now is, that quote which said, "The fool didn't know it was impossible, that's why he did it." So, that's striking it right now.
And what is your mantra? Every day someone has like a mantra to abide by, or the thing that they keep thinking of, be the goal wise, or be, seeing a certain vision.
Yeah.
So what mantra you have?
I think my main mantra is just to be grateful for being here, thankful, and I just every morning I do pray every morning before I leave the house, and I just thank God for everything that I have and everything I'm able to do. So that's it. That's what keeps me going.
And if you had to give an advice to the aspiring young developers, what that would be? And you can easily say it in a quite lengthy way. There's no word limit to it.
Everyone who's going to enter real estate or thinking about entering real estate, I think it's a fantastic industry. It is going to give you everything that you have dreamt of, provided you are willing to give it all you got. You have to be diligent. You have to be with a mindset that you won't give up. There'll be failures. We as developers who are already established developers do face failures on a day-to-day basis. There are a lot of things that don't go right, don't happen at the same pace that we thought. But it's the idea of becoming a developer is that you don't give up. You have to do that. That is the goal. So the small battles are okay. You have to eventually win the war. So that's the idea.
Great. That was end of our rapid fire question.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rishabh, for joining us today in Let's Talk Business series. And it was wonderful knowing you and about your brand, your insights on the real estate market.
Thank you.
I hope we can have this chat again for our next upcoming Let's Talk Business
Looking
series.
forward. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.